Around 1.7 million Australians have diabetes, and 85 to 90% of those are type 2 cases. It's a growing epidemic, and here to tell us more, welcome Renza Scibilia from Diabetes Australia.
Hi, thanks
welcome.
for having me here.
Hey, Renza.
Renza, can you tell us exactly what diabetes is and how serious is it?
It's really serious. So I think that's a good place to start with. It's serious and it's complex, and it's not just one thing. So we really talk about two main types of diabetes. We talk about type 1 diabetes, which used to be called juvenile diabetes, but we don't call it that because it actually can occur in people of any age.
Right. Okay.
And that means that the body has stopped producing insulin. So people with type 1 diabetes need to have injections or use an insulin pump to give themselves insulin. And then we have type 2 diabetes, which I think is what we're really talking about today and what Michael Mosley was speaking about. And that's where the body is actually still producing insulin. It's just not able to use it properly. It becomes quite resistant to insulin.
Now, we hear about people with diabetes not being able to eat certain foods. You know, what are those foods and why are they so important that they don't eat them?
Yeah. So there's no such thing as a diet for people with diabetes. So let's just get that out of the way right now. Okay, so, you know, you go and you can see things that have got diabetic jam on them, and I always think, how did the jam get diabetes? So I think that what we need to remember is that there is no one eating plan that works for everybody with diabetes. There are certainly some foods that you might want to avoid, so things that are really high in fat and really high in sugar and those sorts of things, but we all should probably be doing that a little bit. Yeah. So eating a healthy diet, that is what we should all be aiming for, including people living with diabetes.
Look, Renza, it's fair to say that it goes beyond just changing what you eat too.
Yes.
What are some of the broader risks associated with diabetes?
So this is when we're talking about how serious diabetes is, okay? So there are diabetes-related complications that we often hear about, and they are quite scary, but I think we do need to talk about what they are. So these are things like blindness, lower limb amputation, kidney failure, and also there's an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, so heart attack and stroke. So these are really serious, and this is why we need to diagnose people really early and get them treated really early so that we can do everything to manage people the best way possible so that they don't develop these complications.
It's become an epidemic in this country. Yes. Why? Why has it risen so much?
And globally as well. We kind of don't know. We don't know completely. We certainly know that there are some reasons. So with type 1 diabetes, that's also increasing, and we don't know why that's happening, but it is increasing around the world. With type 2 diabetes, we certainly can point to some things like where we talk about, you know, eating foods that perhaps are not as healthy as we used to eat previously. We have a far more sedentary lifestyle. We don't move as much as we used to do. So all of those sorts of things certainly are contributing to type 2 diabetes.
So, Renza, you just saw Dr. Michael Mosley there, and we featured him last week and this week on the show. He used rapid weight loss and intermittent fasting to, well, put his type 2 diabetes into remission, not necessarily cure it, he says. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we need to be really careful. There is no cure for diabetes, for any sort of diabetes. So I think there is an increasing body of evidence around how we can treat some types of type 2 diabetes, perhaps with this rapid weight loss. I think we need to be really, really careful. It is such a big issue. We do really want that magic bullet, okay? We're all looking for that. We want to be able to do one thing and it's going to cure diabetes or put it in remission or... We can't do that. For some people, this might work. How sustainable is it though? I mean, we heard Michael explain just, you know, really low calorie diet and what that looks like. How are people going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years' time? Will they be able to maintain that? But also, diabetes isn't just about, or type 2 diabetes isn't just about obesity or being overweight. There are people who are of a healthy weight when they're diagnosed, so losing weight actually could be quite dangerous to them if they're starting to eat a low calorie diet. It's such a complex condition, and there isn't a one idea fixes everything for people living with diabetes.
Well, Renza, thank you so much, because it is a very complicated issue. It's fantastic to hear all the different intricacies of that. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Renza.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still to come on the House of Wellness, our friend right here, Gus Warland, is in for a very big surprise. I can't wait. That is next. So stick around for that one.